Hello ladies and gents, it's EZScape, and it's been a while since I've posted a top 10 video to this channel. I don't really have the time to make them anymore over more ambitious projects, so I've decided to hire my good friend Beastscape to take them over for me. I hope you all enjoy.
Hello everybody, it's Beastscape, and today I'm going to be taking over for EZScape. An AI, or artificial intelligence, is used to generate responsive, adaptive, or intelligent behaviors primarily in NPCs similar to human-like intelligence. Sometimes the AI gets out of line and can do some very unexpected things in a speedrun. Most of the clips you are about to see involve a speedrunner near the end of their run when the AI performs something that is rarely seen, whether it be RNG, a glitch, or unforgiving mechanics. I hope you enjoy. First on the list is Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. This game was released in Japan in 1999 and North America and Europe in 2002 and is loosely based on the manga and anime series. As you progress in this game, one of the final challenges is to defeat what is known as the Final Six. The Final Six is a collection of antagonists that are very difficult to defeat if your deck is not strong enough. These duels are unforgiving and must also be beaten in a row without the ability to save. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, there's a specific card called Exodia the Forbidden One. Just like the trading card game, if you have Exodia, his left and right arm, and left and right leg in your playing hand at any given point in a duel, you automatically win. In Forbidden Memories, some of the Final Six have the 5 pieces of Exodia in their deck, meaning that it's possible to get what's known in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community as Exodia'd. Raikaru 13 has one of the most famous Exodia clips, and it occurred almost 14 hours into his speedrun of the then named any % no card duplication category.
No way!
Please play in defense.
No! I just got Exodia'd!
No. No
What?
way.
What?
I just got Exodia'd!
In only 8 cards, the boss drew the 5 pieces of Exodia. The probability of getting Exodia'd at this specific point in the duel is a minuscule 0.0085% chance, or 1 in 11,764. As a side note, the AI in this game is notorious for cheating and can quite literally transform the cards in their hand. On screen you will see an example of this, and I've also linked the full video in the description. Because of this variable, it's hard to say what the actual probability of getting Exodia'd is. However, if the AI were to play fairly and have 35 random cards plus the 5 pieces of Exodia in their deck, the probability I stated earlier is accurate. All in all, this rarely ever happens in the game, and the runner didn't even know it was possible. Next on the list we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. One of the most popular franchises of all time, Mario Kart is a game that shows no mercy, with some of the most troll AI in gaming history. A runner known as Skillos was on his way to beat the 200cc Star Cup world record when he noticed the infamous blue shell was on the way to get him.
You can outrun it. I should have went for the double. No, had I had my drift, I could get it. Oh, God. Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Instead of completing the race and earning a world record, the blue shell smashes right into him just before the finish line. Because of this, he finishes with a time of 7 minutes and 38 seconds, 1 second off of world record. On the bright side, Skillos did manage to get the world record in this category back in March of this year, so congrats to him.
There it is! Oh my gosh. It's over.
Third on this list is the first game of the Crash Insane trilogy. The runner featured is Yugioh Monkey, and he was on world record pace in the any % category. Towards the end of a run, you are faced off against Nitrous Brio, who consists of 2 phases. In the first phase, Brio throws green and purple potions. The goal is to dodge the purple potions and jump on the blobs that are spawned from the green potions hitting the ground. For every successful jump on the blob, Brio takes damage. In speedrunning, and even in casual play for that matter, you would want to jump on the blobs as soon as they spawned, right? Well, this is an instance where going too fast can softlock the game.
No! No! I'm done. I am fucking done.
This was known as the Nitrous Brio glitch, and it occurred if you jumped too quickly on a green blob as Brio was throwing another potion. The glitch eventually got patched on June 29, 2018, the same day the game was ported to the Nintendo Switch, PC, and Xbox One. Although this was an oversight in the game's design, the animation of Brio freaking out is pretty hilarious. A very interesting one on this list is Burnout 3 Takedown. The runner, known as Mopsi, was running the any % category when something extremely absurd happened. Close to finishing off his run, a car seemingly flies out of nowhere to crash into his. How is this even possible? Was it a glitch? Well, this is what happened. If you slow down the clip just enough, you can see the AI car flying over a hill and landing onto Mopsi at a very high speed. This is because of rubber banding. Rubber band AI refers to a feature found in racing games that is designed to prevent players from getting too far ahead of computer-controlled opponents. When done well, such AI can maintain a consistent level of challenge from the beginning of an event to the end. However, when done poorly, it becomes evident that the game is bending its own rules in the computer's favor, either by temporarily enhancing the CPU's abilities, such as by making a CPU drive at a faster speed than their vehicle is supposedly capable of going, or by inhibiting the abilities of the player's vehicle, or both. In the case of this clip, Mopsi shared with me that the cases where the AI's car goes that fast is not common. On top of this, he also shared with me that you can sometimes gain height seemingly out of nowhere. When pairing this out-of-bounds glitch with poor rubber banding, the AI manages to gain height to travel over a hill and crash into the car at the worst part in the run, the last race. He also titled this clip the most BS moment in speedrunning history, and I couldn't agree more. Next on the list is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. Linkus7 was running the any percent category and was on his first ever sub 1 hour pace run. The only thing standing in his way was Ganondorf. The way the Ganondorf fight works in this game is that he can do two different attacks, an over the head slash and a side slash. The timing for when he hits you is completely random. As you can see, Linkus is going to work on Ganon, and as soon as the stun wears off, the timer activates. The timer can range anywhere from the first frame the stun runs out up to 2 seconds later. If you get his over the head slash attack within the first few frames, Link doesn't have enough time to walk backwards, and even though Link has a shield, Ganon's sword will still reach a few pixels off the backside of Link's head. So instead of Ganon hitting the shield, the game thinks Link got hit on the back of the head, causing a death and an unbelievable way to ruin a speedrun.
Please don't give me bad RNG as well and hit me in the beginning here. No! Instant! Why? I did it perfectly! Why on this run did I have perfect? No!
Linkus also shared that this has happened only twice in the entire time he has been running this game. Next up, we have Grand Theft Auto 5 ran by DarkViperAU. He was 6 hours into his run of the Classic Percent category when an insane series of events decimated him. He was on the Big Score mission, which is the 6th and final heist mission in the game. The mission can be completed in two ways, the subtle approach or the obvious approach. Speedrunners select the subtle approach, and they'll need to drive their vehicle onto a tractor trailer at a specific point, or the mission has failed. Unfortunately, it was not one, but two events that caused them to fail the mission. As you can see in this clip, Dark Viper is approaching an underpass when gunfire from a police helicopter rains down on him. You would think that a police helicopter shooting above a vehicle wouldn't be able to reach the tires, right? Well, this specific police helicopter was relentless, and shockingly takes out a tire of the vehicle with only a few shots. It's still possible for him to complete the mission with time to spare, but then this happens. The game mysteriously throws his car into oncoming traffic. This is known as the levitation bug, and because of this, it takes him a few moments to get back to the other side of the road to try and complete the mission. However, by the time he gets where he needs to be, he's unable to successfully drive the vehicle into the tractor trailer.
You're kidding me. You are fucking kidding me.
At the time, this was a sub 6 hour 35 minute run, which was unbelievable for the game. The world record for the game currently sits at a time of 6 hours, 17 minutes, and 5 seconds. Even if it wasn't for the levitation bug, the police helicopter shooting out the tire was just another example of an AI who was on a trolling spree. Here we have the Final Fantasy VII any percent no slots run by Davesterio. The game has a hidden mechanic where if a party member, or enemy, has 7,777 health, every attack they do will deal 7,777 damage. About 4 hours into the run, there's a boss you encounter named Demon's Gate. This boss has 10,000 HP, and it can open up with a few attacks, such as Cave In, Rock Drop, Petrify Eye, or it can prepare for a Demon Rush. If the boss does not open up with a Demon Rush, you have to deal 2,500 damage in order to push it into a Demon Rush state. Once the boss is in this state, you can normally get 5 turns off with proper ATB weight manipulation to control the battle time. All this means is that you can minimize the opponent's turns while maximizing yours. In Davesterio's instance, he was somehow able to get 9 turns in before the boss used its AoE Demon Rush attack, and it just so happened he got the boss to exactly 7,777 health before the move. Now you can see where I'm going with this.
Are you gonna do something? That was crazy, man. I got a lot of damage in that early phase. No crit. What? What?
Normally with the way the turns go, it's very easy to avoid this health range before Demon's Gate attacks, but because of the extra turns and damage rolls, Demon's Gate ruins the run. The damage rolls went as follows: 440, 314, 424, 304, 432, and 309, which reduced from 10,000 HP equals 7,777 HP.
That is the most insane thing I have seen throughout my entire speedrunning of this game.
Next on the list is a runner named Shredberg who is running Super Meat Boy. Near the end of the game, you're faced against Larry's Lament. During this fight, there are 3 giant maggots that dig in and out of the ground, and the only way to defeat them is to make them jump into the saws on the sides of the walls. The easiest way to do this is to wall jump off the left side of the left platform, taking you through the blades. As you can see, the first 2 worms jump into the saws rather early. However, the last worm only has a 25% chance of jumping on each cycle. The median for this to occur successfully is typically around 5 cycles, where anything more than 10 is very bad luck. Shredberg faced impossibly bad luck. How many cycles do you think this encounter took? 10? 25? Nope, 45. 45 cycles of Larry refusing to jump cost him 3 minutes. The probability of needing 45 cycles to complete Larry is 0.000239%, or 1 in 419,028.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's go. Oh, no. Okay, one more. Larry, please. We did it. We hit 3 minutes. We did it. That was so good. That was, oh my god. 3 minutes and 4 seconds.
Next up we have Mega Man X, ran by Sopanama. A little under halfway through the 100% run, you face a boss known as Armored Armadillo, or Dillo for short. One of his abilities in this fight is his rolling shield, where he curls up into a ball and begins to spin rapidly and bounce around his boss room. He is also invincible whilst he is in motion. While he is bouncing off the walls, he has a chance to break open, and once that occurs, you're able to damage him. Normally, he breaks open after a few bounces, but sometimes he takes longer. If this happens, you're guaranteed to lose a huge chunk of time to this game mechanic, and with how optimized this game is, it's usually an automatic reset. In Sopanama's encounter, Dillo decided to bounce around the room for a solid 32 seconds.
Okay. Okay. What the Is he ever gonna stop? What the fuck was that?
Lastly on the list is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the 100% speedrun, this game is best known for Dampe, a mysterious old man who works as a gravekeeper. As young Link, Dampe offers a grave digging tour late at night. For 10 rupees, he will dig up a patch of dirt. There is a 10% chance that he will dig up a piece of heart, which is necessary to complete the 100% speedrun of the game. There are 15 mounds to dig from in the graveyard, and the game's programming simply gives each attempt a 10% chance of success, and does in fact keep count of how many attempts you've made. On your 15th attempt, it guarantees a success. However, if you keep exiting and reloading the area as speedrunners do, the attempt count is reset to 0 each time. Because of this, the probability of obtaining the piece of heart becomes a geometric distribution, and I will get to that in a moment. So the question now becomes, what is the Dampe world record? Or in other words, the highest amount of attempts that was needed to obtain a piece of heart? 25? 75? Try 103. Slask was casually running the 100% category when he soon realized Dampe's gravedigging tour was a scam. After being unsuccessful at Dampe for quite a few times, he kept going because up until this point, he was on a very good pace in the run, and most likely figured that he would get the heart piece very soon, and only lose a little bit of time. However, this eventually turned into 103 attempts, which took roughly 43 minutes, and was probably the most agonizing 43 minutes of his life. When looking at the probability of this happening, we must be clear that each attempt at Dampe is an independent event, since speedrunners exit and reload the area upon a failed attempt. The probability of needing at least 103 Dampe attempts to obtain the heartpiece is 0.0019%, or 1 in 51,644. Needless to say, I think Dampe had it out for this speedrunner.
There's a 1, or I think it's a 1 in 15 chance to get the heartpiece. Or like, 10% chance or something like that. Ew.
Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, as it's the best way to show support. EZScape worked really hard on this video, so make sure you guys comment below and let him know how he did. And there will be direct links to his social media in the description. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Subscribe for more speedrunning related content, and as always, I hope you all have a beautiful life.
It's really been a marathon of time, filled with diluted nutrients, I'm on the spot. I can't help it, it's the way my mind's wired. I wonder why everybody turns to liars. Social celebrity is not longevity. You can't be mad at the youth, what weaponry you gave them for combat. The content enslaves them. You looking for Jesus, but you